Jalen Hurts, once the ACC Player of the Year, but then he suddenly lost his job to a Heisman finalist quarterback. And today, I'm just here to explain to y'all the game that made Jalen Hurts a legend. So what's good, y'all? It's Matt LBG, and we are back with our story video, man. If y'all new to my channel and like story videos like this, leave a like for more. And hey, let's quit all that talking. Let's get straight into the video, man. If you have clicked on this video or know anything about college football, I assume you know Jalen Hurts. But just in case you don't, and you don't know the whole story between Tua and Jalen, I'm going to give y'all a brief summary and run through. So Jalen Hurts was the starting quarterback for the University of Alabama for his first 2 years, which was his sophomore and freshman years. He led Alabama to the national championship and gave them the lead in what was going to be the game-winning touchdown drive before Clemson presumably scored on the last play. With Jalen having this great and successful freshman career, Alabama thought they was going to have a quarterback for the next 2 to 3 years. And Jalen necessarily didn't struggle his sophomore year, he just didn't really live up to the high expectations because he had such a great freshman year. Everyone thought he would progress in his throwing game from his freshman to sophomore year, but it really didn't happen, and that's why a lot of people started to doubt Jalen. With Jalen really struggling with his passing game all the way up to the national championship game against Georgia, Alabama just had to make a change at quarterback. And boy, did it ever pay off for Alabama. They put in backup quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, as y'all know, and the rest is basically history, and that's a video for another day. Long story short, they put in Tua in the national championship game after halftime. He won the game for him, and he's been the starter ever since, and he's a Heisman finalist. Now, a lot of people doubted and hated on Jalen Hurts once this happened because they just questioned if he could play quarterback, and it really sucked for him. It's not that Jalen Hurts is a bad quarterback. He would probably start for almost any other team in the country. It's just that Tua is that good, man. Believe the hype. I mean, and Jalen's a great person, and so is Tua, but it's business, and you got to play the best player. Now, I'll make a longer and more in-depth video on Tua and Jalen and the whole story, but this is a more in-depth, brief summary of what's happened the past 2 to 3 years. After Tua saved Alabama in the national championship, nothing really happened as Jalen sat the bench and got second-string reps, and Tua had a great year. Now, before this season, everyone said Jalen should transfer, he's not going to play, and although they was right, he stuck it out, and God rewarded him, man. Tua has battled injuries off and on this year, as everyone knows, and everyone's been asking, can Jalen perform if he gets the moment? I've seen a bunch of people say, and a bunch of people would joke about, what if Tua gets hurt this year and Jalen's the one who saves Alabama in the national championship or a big game? When I hear that, or when anyone hears that, and I know I've talked about it, we just kind of laugh because that's crazy to even think about. That's almost like a Hollywood movie. It's almost better than a movie, and you just really don't think it could actually happen. But what you thought couldn't happen really did happen. Everyone thought Alabama was going to breeze by Georgia, and actually everyone had just easily win the national championship this year. Alabama has the most stacked team Nick Saban has probably ever had, and every analyst on ESPN says this. And with Tua playing as one of the best college quarterbacks ever before the Georgia game, it just looked like it was going to be a runaway. But just like the championship game last year, Georgia came out swinging first and had all the momentum, and it almost played out like the exact same way as last year's game. Alabama's offense was stagnant, they was making mental errors, dropping passes, and Georgia, like last year, was just on fire in every aspect. It had almost the same feel and was almost exactly like last year's game, and I cannot stress that enough, and I know I've said it a lot, it was just almost the same thing. Now, with all that being said, this all isn't on Tua because he had bad blocking at times. His receivers didn't help him at all, as Alabama dropped more passes in that one game than they have almost all year. Alabama trailed the whole entire game, and they just couldn't find the momentum that the offense normally has. Alabama's starting quarterback Tua did throw 2 costly interceptions, and up to this point, this was the worst game he's ever played. Then in the second half, with Alabama being down 28-21 with the ball, something drastic happened. Tua Tagovailoa took the snap, dropped back, and went for a pass, and then his own offensive lineman stepped on his ankle. Tua was on the ground for a while, and you could tell he was in obvious pain, and he probably wasn't coming back in. So this means that Alabama's backup quarterback once the Offensive Player of the Year in the SEC, Jalen Hurts, gets his time and moment to prove himself. This isn't your ordinary backup now. This guy has played a lot of football, played in a lot of meaningful games, and has led Alabama to 2 national championships. And Jalen's worked hard all year, dealt with a lot of critics, and I mean a lot of critics, haters, and now he got to prove everyone wrong and see what he can do. Jalen Hurts came in and he lit it up, man. He looked like an absolutely different quarterback in that last couple of drives against Georgia than he had his first 2 years. You could easily just tell how much his passing games improved from 1 year. Jalen came in and he was scrambling out of the pocket and making throws on the run, and instead of running down the field the whole time, he was keeping his eyes up, and you could tell he progressed in that area of his game. Jalen was 5 for 5 on 3rd down. Think about that, 5 for 5 on 3rd down. And before that, with Tua in the game, Alabama was 0 for 6 on 3rd down. Now, I was watching the college football playoff show the day after the game, and I'm going to give props to Greg McElroy. He said this, and I didn't really think about it, but if Tua would have played the whole 60 minutes of the Georgia-Alabama game, I don't know if Alabama would have won. Myself and Greg said they would have lost, and I'm pretty sure they would have lost if Tua would have kept playing. And let me explain my reasoning for that. Just like last year, when they game planned for Jalen Hurts playing quarterback and they completely locked him up, and then Tua came in and Georgia didn't really have a game plan for Tua. So, since Georgia didn't have a defensive game plan for Tua, he lit them up and they didn't know what to expect at all, so that's why Alabama won the game. And it's completely vice versa in the same scenario this year, with Georgia doing the same thing, game planning for Alabama's first-string quarterback, which is now Tua Tagovailoa. They didn't game plan for Jalen Hurts. So when Jalen Hurts came in the game, it was like they was shook. They didn't know what to do, and they didn't have a game plan for him. If you watch the game, and a lot of people don't know much about football and go into detail with it, but you could tell that Georgia was trying to collapse the pocket with Tua and not let him get outside, just collapse it and make him make tough decisions and bad throws. One thing I will say negative against Tua, he will make bad throws and bad decisions and make a lot of risky plays and passes. But when you collapse the pocket on Jalen Hurts, that's what he wants and that's what he strives on, because he escapes and looks downfield and he either runs or, now as he did in that game, passes for a huge gain. Alabama was down 28-21 and they was driving, and it's 3rd and 10 on the goal line, and of course, what does Jalen do? He proves the doubters and critics wrong, rolls to his right, and drops a dime to the wide receiver. That was a huge play and huge drive, as it capped up a long drive for Alabama and tied the game, and just, you could feel it in the air or wherever you was watching the game. Alabama got all the momentum. With the game tied, Jalen Hurts then got the ball again on a bonehead call from Georgia on a fake punt, and he made them pay for it. Capping off once was another great drive from Jalen and great passes from Jalen. Not Tua, Jalen we're talking about, making great passes. He, of course, finished it off with his signature run quarterback draw up the middle for 15 yards, and what was the game-winning touchdown, man. Now, this don't really have anything to do with the video, but I just want to mention it as a side note. Jalen Hurts had ankle surgery less than 5 weeks ago before this game. Not real sure if a lot of y'all paid attention or looked a lot, but Jalen Hurts had both of his ankles wrapped up in very hard athletic tape, which is hard to run in. So I just want y'all to keep that in mind, as he really was not 100%. He might have been 90% or 95%, but he wasn't even at his full strength. Alright, back to the video, y'all. With Jalen leading that great drive, it now brought the score to 35-28 with almost less than a minute to go, and Alabama just made a few stops here and there, played good defense, and they eventually won the game. This was such a great and heartwarming moment for not just Alabama, not Nick Saban, not Jalen, not Tua, every college football fan, and not even fans, just people. Just the adversity Jalen went through, it even made me almost tear up, and it's just a heartwarming moment, man. People doubted him, critiqued him. He didn't get to play at all, and people told him to leave Alabama because he wasn't good enough, he wasn't a quarterback. Even Alabama's own fans said that. And when tough things happen and tough times happen, you got two choices. You can leave, be a coward, go run away from it, or you can stick it out and keep grinding. And as Jalen stated in an interview, he just kept grinding and working, man. I'm really trying not to get emotional, man. It's just a great story. When you have a great perspective on life, it can change how you look at everything. This win and just overall game couldn't have gone to a better person and teammate. When he got benched last year, he was the first one to congratulate Tua on everything. And I don't care what y'all say. Y'all may not think that's a big deal, but if you're an athlete and you get benched, you know how mad you get. And I don't know how he didn't get mad and didn't transfer. I got the most respect for Jalen Hurts just as a person. Not even a football player, just as a person. He has so much maturity, and he's gotten so much better at football, and I can't wait to see where he goes to college next year or what he does with his college football career. This game forever and will ever and ever and forever put Jalen Hurts down as a college football legend, not only for Alabama, but a college football legend. Just with his great perseverance and all that he's been through, I can honestly say no one will ever forget this moment in college football history. And no one will ever forget Jalen Hurts and all what he's done and just everything he's went through. I just cannot stress that enough. Just a great person, great teammate, and he's forever going to be remembered as a legend. This just goes to show that tough times don't last, man. Tough people do. And you just got to persevere and have patience and trust God's plan, as Jalen has stated over and over and over. Now, although with all that's being said, I know it may suck. Things may not be going good for you, but you just got to trust God's plan because he's got bigger things in store for you, and just keep grinding out like Jalen did. Whew. But hey, man, with all this being said, that's about gonna wrap up this video, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something from this video because I did a lot of research. So I hope you guys learned something because I love doing videos like these. If you like videos like these, leave a like so I know to do more because I need to have y'all's feedback. Drop some comments down below on some other story videos y'all like to see if you like videos like this. And as always, if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot, knows that I'm growing, keeps me motivated to make more videos. And like I said, leave some comments down below. I love interacting with y'all, my fans and stuff. And that's about gonna wrap up this video. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed. And with all this being said, I'm out, y'all. Peace.